Podcast starts now. Wow. Hello, all, and welcome to StraightioLab. I couldn't be more honored to be here today talking into a microphone. George, what does that feel like to you?
I never thought that I could be a person who talks into a microphone. And you know why? Growing up as a queer teen, I always felt like I didn't want to take up space. And I felt like my voice didn't deserve to be amplified, especially technologically speaking, via a microphone. But as I've gotten older, I've realized I do need to take up space, and I do need to amplify my voice, and I actually need to record it every week and release it via a variety of applications such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Zencaster, I think, is one. And I think, and on top of that, I think I need to provide a forum where people can even rate the sound and quality of my voice and potentially give it, 1 star and say, he's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I'll never forget when I finally started talking into a microphone, and my uncle yelled at me that Christmas, and he said, I can't be related to anyone with a podcast. And I said, this is so close-minded. Like, so many people who are respected can have a podcast now. And he was like, well, I don't know.
He was like,
them.
name one.
And I said, well, have you, I was like, well, have you listened to Serial? Do you know that podcast? And he said, I'm not going to say what he said on this podcast.
Yeah,
let's just say that.
He used a slur. Okay,
he used a slur.
And it was one that targeted multiple communities at once. And he was referring to Sarah Koenig. And
it was an intersectional slur.
An intersectional slur, but targeting a white podcasting woman, a white woman of podcast, WPOC
of podcast.
And I'll say this, that here is my question about Sarah Koenig. No one has really decided, was that okay? If I were to tell
ethically?
you, was Serial right? No one actually has an answer to that. It's just sort of like, she was the moment for that one summer, but to what end and at what cost?
I think you're thinking about this all wrong. You know what I mean? The point is ethical or not, she made a splash. And,
she made an impact.
And if you're making an impact, you're changing the world. And if you're changing the world, you're doing something good.
That's right.
And that's just a fact. And I think what she did so incredibly well was to do Serial and then have it be the podcast that invented podcasting. But then it's I couldn't even think of her name right now. How do you do that? She made it so that it was about the product and not about her ego.
Yeah. See, first of all, if anything, she brought us male crimp, and that will live down in infamy. And then the other thing I'll say is, it is interesting what you say about not knowing her name, because to me, I've never forgotten her name. And I say her name every morning when I wake up. And I dedicate every episode of this podcast to her.
Yeah, and that's true. Look in the description.
Yeah, but to your point about how she made an impact, I do think something we value on this podcast is living out loud. And to me, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, it's important to live out loud, and it's important to live as loudly as possible. And she was one of the first people to say, well, what if I do that literally by speaking quite literally into a microphone?
I mean, I think what she did was so much more ethical than what Michael Barbaro does,
Well, yeah. I mean, he's spreading misinformation every single morning, and nothing he says has ever been true.
It's literally just what he feels like talking about that morning. And he's this is going on and I think it's good. And it's I don't think it's your place to say whether it's good or bad. And he's
who died and made you a tastemaker?
Oh my God. Truly.
And by the way, if you're going to be a tastemaker, I'm going to need some more pizzazz. Why isn't he in a sort of, Heaven by Mark Jacobs campaign? I need him to make, there's something about it where I need him to either be more or less. Either be out of the spotlight completely and be a behind the scenes queen, or be in the spotlight and have the courage to post a sort of cum gutter pic on Instagram.
I couldn't agree more. It's the fact that he's straddling the line. It's offensive because he's not a news guy. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not is Brian Williams still relevant? He's not Brian Williams.
Well, by the way, I'll tell you this. He's famously cut his teeth as a local reporter in the Times. And I feel like one of the reasons people trust him is because he has that background.
Well, yeah, I mean in the literal sense, but I more mean like...
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry to take that literally.
It's like, yeah, I know he's a reporter. I'm talking about how he's not a reporter. Does that make any sense?
Right. Sorry. That was so classic Barbara for me to take something you said literally.
That was like offensive. It was like, we're on this like fantasy train.
You're so right. And it's actually so offensive that I just said that to you. For you to try to make a point about Michael Barbaro and for me to fact check it on the spot.
I mean, who the fuck are you, Brian
Joe
Williams?
Biden's misinformation task force. I'm that one Biden person who keeps stealing people's suitcases.
I mean, as queer people and as podcast hosts, co-hosts, we need to have each other's backs. And what you did right then was you pulled the rug out from under me and said, that's not true. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, what matters is that we support each other. Community.
I want to say on the record that I am so deeply sorry and horrified by my own behavior. And I am quite literally I'm sort of Elliot Spitzer-esque, making a speech while my disgraced wife is standing next to me to apologize, and it is Rose to apologize for the fact that I here's what I did. I engaged in toxic fact-checking culture.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when you weaponize the concept of fact-checking, which appeals to liberal sensibilities, for evil.
You did that, and it's like, you can do that to, I don't know, your lover. Sure. I don't care what toxic games you guys get into during sex. Yeah.
No, but you're absolutely right. No, the fact that I did it actually, you know what? It's my old, over the last 3 years doing this podcast, we've developed obviously like a rapport that we have with one another, and we play heightened versions of one another on the podcast, much like a sort of Nathan for you ecosystem, one could say. And what I did sorry, no?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're
if I buy
being
that,
just
that
completely
comparison.
yourself? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not heightened. I'm not sort of playing a character.
Okay, interesting that you fact checked me, and that's okay. You didn't. I was trying to make a larger point, and I was grasping for any kind of comparison or metaphor, and the first thing that came to mind was Nathan for you. You had the chance to yes and you said, no, I'm going to get back at him for telling me that Michael Barbaro used to be a local reporter at the New York Times. And I'm going to tell him, no, not that.
You're right. I completely participated in toxic fact-checking, and it's because I wanted to get revenge on you. Because even though you were apologizing to me, I couldn't accept your apology until I had gotten full revenge.
You weren't ready to accept my apology.
No. But now, I think we both hurt each other, and that makes the relationship even stronger.
Yeah, people talk a lot about eye for an eye, whatever, turn the other cheek. Sometimes eye for an eye works. It really evens a score.
Oh my God. And when people are like, oh, in arguments, it's really helpful to use I feel statements. It's like, how about I make judgments about the other person? Have you ever tried a you feel statement? I think that is actually the quicker way. You feel annoying to me.
So, wait, hold on. We're operating on 15 different levels here. So we have defined and problematized toxic fact-checking culture, and we have come up with a new conflict resolution technique called you feel statements, which is rather than saying I feel, you can say you feel like something's off.
You feel weird.
Do you know what would make this conversation even more, would give it even more of a zest? Is bringing in two other people that I know for a fact have a lot to say about all the topics that we've discussed.
I think that would be absolutely huge.
Please welcome Rose Dommu and Fran Tirado from the podcast. I'll say it like a virgin.
Thank you.
Hi. Wow. So I feel as George's wife that he should know how to pronounce my last name on his podcast.
Okay, you know what's crazy is literally... Okay, so how do you pronounce it?
It's Dommu. Like, I'm going to dom you tonight because you didn't know how to pronounce my name.
And,
wow.
And I'll say this. What if I did it on purpose because I wanted to be dommed?
Well, I knew that that's what you were setting up.
yeah.
And I have long lusted for you from afar.
Right. Even though we are married, just to be clear.
Right.
From afar,
never
from the
parents.
other room. Well, from the other bed, we have sort of a Lucy and Ricky setup.
Yes. Well, it was a green card marriage. You wanted to move from Los Angeles to New York. And you needed a sponsor.
Yeah. And I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we did it.
She's
But
back.
we still have not consummated.
And we might
honestly-
never do it.
We might never do it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We may, and let me tell you, we were traveling over here, lots of packages, lots of suitcases, and I was just thinking while you guys were talking, we as queer people, we get to choose who we steal suitcases from, and I think that's so important. You know, like I feel like as a culture, that's something that we have claim to.
I'm so glad I brought that up because
I am too. That is one of the funnier things that has ever happened.
Okay, but it is also like fully. There's a right-wing propaganda element to it. I'm
100%.
100%.
Like it's literally being written about by right-wing media, and then sort of irony-poisoned queers are like, it's funny though.
But it is.
It's so complicated. It is
It
funny.
really is so complicated. I'm like, okay. I am
It's
laughing
actually
at a
very
specific
simple.
thing here.
It's actually very simple.
No,
but
actually,
it's so funny because of that.
What it is, honestly, is it's just the right wing media being like, you know, they're groomers, trans people love to steal suitcases or whatever, and on the left side, we're all
Those
just
innocent
like,
suitcases.
yeah, exactly. And on the left side, we're just busy thinking up intersectional slurs.
Absolutely.
Which I'm now gonna keep thinking. I was trying to think of some while you guys were talking, and the only one that came to mind, which you can call me a faggot, you can call me a whatever. But like if I am in a professional or personal environment and someone calls me an influencer, that's a slur.
That is, although it is what the I in LGBTQIA stands for.
As James Charles did decide.
Exactly. I do actually want, so something I'm realizing sort of more and more is like often things that I will consider obvious, the average person. And by the way, not things anyone should know. Things that I know because I'm doing self-harm via information to my brain every day. But
See,
the
I
other
do it
day I
with
mentioned, the other day I mentioned the sort of iconic suitcase stealing Biden influencer, if you will, and the person I was talking to had no idea what I was referencing. So I would actually love it if maybe our guests, Fran and Rose, could sort of explain what we're even talking about.
Okay, I don't remember this bald queen's name, but she, was someone who worked in the Biden cabinet, was appointed right away in the kind of United Colors of Benetton-esque kind of casting announcement of the Biden administration.
Yes. Yeah. But by the way, they are an MIT engineer. Like, because at first I was like, okay, this person is being set up to fail. They were hired as like the LGBTQ czar.
Oh, is that what they were doing? I thought they were doing something completely.
They were doing science.
They were doing science. Yeah,
They were
doing
supposed to
science.
solve climate change.
Literally. And instead they are fucking stealing suitcases. Sustainable
they're
much?
trying to be sustainable.
Right. And so lo and behold, I guess at one point in time, someone was like, they wore this kind of like something that was to me like giving, like it was kind of I would say like a smock of some kind, that a kaftan, if you will, that was not, just didn't look like something they would wear. And someone was like, that's my kaftan. It was stolen from a suitcase months ago or something like that. And then someone dug in and found that this person is a serial suitcase stealer and that there's like lots of documented evidence to.
So then footage starts coming out. People start coming out saying like, oh, hello, like I'm an Arkansas-based designer and I lost a suitcase a few months ago. These are the items in it. And then this is a thread of this person wearing each of those items at various different fully official White House events.
If I was stealing suitcases, I would like wear the things to like non-photographed events. I feel like I would just wear them to like gay bars around the house.
Well, it's kind of sick and twisted. It's almost like a murderer like leaving a little card. Like she like almost wanted it to be found. She liked sort of rubbing it in whoever's suitcase's face.
It's definitely kink behavior because like there is like a pathology to it, because how do you steal a suitcase? You don't know if there's going to be anything good in there. So clearly this is a person who's doing this very often. So, I mean, just think of all the like pairs of khakis that they've thrown out before you get to the suitcase with the fabulous caftans.
And on this
very true.
And then to wear
right
it
now.
Yeah. And then to wear it to these like official state events, you know, like there is something that is happening in addition to theft is those garments are being ruined by the cum that is erupting out from getting away with it.
Yeah, this person is coming at a near constant basis.
It is, I mean, if there's one thing Rose is going to do, it's pathologize kink and fetish culture.
That's
Let
right.
me tell you.
Especially LGBTQ plus kink.
Obviously, I mean, the nuance. Obviously, like, anytime anyone in the public eye does something wrong, they're going to find also all the kinky shit that they do as well and figure out why that's bad. It's pretty much the same thing as what happened to Armie Hammer. Like, it's pretty much a 1-to-1, I feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, did something happen with
clear-
Armie Hammer?
To be clear,
Well,
All
Rose,
four of
he
us-
was kink shamed. That's what happened.
He was
and
kink shamed.
And he was a high-level Biden official.
Yeah. And now he works for, like, a resort or whatever. Did you see that?
So
Yeah, he
I
like
do want to
Airbnb's
say,
a house or something.
I felt sort of bad for not knowing this person's name, and you know, in my panic as we are all talking, I was like, I need to Google and I need to find that page 6 article. And so you better believe I Googled Biden non-binary suitcase.
And did you find it?
Is there
And I
a
found
Target
it, and-
landing page for their Pride collection?
yeah. They're like, okay, their name is Sam Brinton, and they were fired in December after this came out. And I also have a huge scoop, which is that they were a top nuclear waste official.
That is what I'm saying. Nuclear waste. This person was in charge of.
Interesting that the Ohio train derailment happened after they were fired. And now there's a sort of mini Chernobyl happening in our very backyard. Potentially, if suitcase stealing was not as stigmatized, we wouldn't be in that situation.
We
right
need
now.
them back in the White House.
They should be president.
Give them as many suitcases as they want.
I don't care if they steal my suitcase as long as we have clean air and water in
Well,
Ohio.
this is why you never check baggage. I mean, honestly, these people were asking for it.
I completely
That's
agree.
true.
And guess what? I've seen this person strut up and down airport, you know, what are they called?
The moving walkways.
Yeah, as
The
if they
moving
were on the
walkways,
Fire
yes.
Island boardwalk,
On
going
the
to
Fire
get
Island
coffee.
boardwalk. I'm not sure this person has ever not been in either an airport or the White House. It seems like they spend a lot of time there. And I do want to say, you know, they do have a sort of strut that I would like. I think they would look better in my clothing. They would be able to sell this Uniqlo hoodie that I'm wearing much better than I can right now.
You want to know something
Wow.
really gaggy? Is I was actually, I think, paid to moderate a panel with this diva years and
Oh my
years
God.
ago.
Are you a
You
nuclear
know.
waste expert?
Literally, like years and years ago, before they were appointed to Biden, I was on a panel with them.
It was
And I
a
don't
panel
remember
for away luggage. It was their Pride activation.
well, that was the launch. That was the launch of the non-binary Biden suitcase.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't remember anything. All I remember is just like shoes and lipstick. And
Yeah.
okay, I'm reticent to say what I'm about to say, but I feel like
Please.
as a non-binary, like I really do need to like look out for my other girls and say
course.
that if you as a non-binary are going to, and this is something Rose has taught me, if you as a
Let's hear what
non-binary,
this is.
I'm scared, actually.
if you as a non-binary are going to go for the bold lip color, if you're Caucasian, you need to do some planning. You need to really work on the styling. You need to figure out how it goes along with what you do. You can't just like pop on the fluid like purple glitter lip moment and just call it a day, because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on white skin. It doesn't look good in general. You have to know what you're doing if you're going to go for the bold lip. And I want my girls to look good.
Yeah, I'm always saying this. I'm always saying that I want my girls to look good.
Rose, you love... Am I right to say that you love policing the appearance of non-binary people?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I answered for you, Rose.
Well, this is you feel. So tell me how I feel.
This is you feel.
About policing
A classic you feel
people.
statement.
That's a classic you feel.
No,
I was going to say,
Fran and I's whole podcast is you feel statements. And so are our voice notes to each other.
Can you imagine being the official that has to go to Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, and explain the situation?
Yeah, because I was. When I'm not podcasting, I'm a White House aide, and I was the one who had to break the news to him.
Rose goes to Joe Biden and goes, "Diva, can I call you Diva?"
Yeah, we got Michael Barbaro on the line, and we've got an exclusive with.
Okay, I had to Google Michael Barbaro when you were talking about him, and I would like to see his cum gutters.
Yeah, he's kind of hot, to be
Everyone
honest.
should Google this photo of him on a yellow couch. He's wearing a yellow sweater on a yellow couch, and it's a sort of iconic photo.
Piss kink?
My source
Flagging much?
My sources tell me this photo was sort of an inside joke among former Times staffers.
What was
Honestly,
the joke?
Just that he looks like sort of silly. But I think he's maybe in on it.
Wow,
I
they
mean,
have a great sense of humor over there.
Yeah. Haven't you read the opinion section?
I mean, Rose is staunchly anti-New York Times. I mean, not that we aren't all, but like Rose has never listened to The Daily, let alone a podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't really listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
they're terrible art form.
That's for
Truly
the better.
lowest
Yeah,
of the
it's
low.
smart. Really smart.
But when you guys said Michael Barbaro's name, I was like, should our topic have been Michael Barbaro, because he famously was a gay and then literally fell in love with the producer of his podcast and converted.
The woman producer, Rose.
A woman, sorry, Rose Dommu. Yeah,
Great.
isn't that
good for
bad?
him. Honestly, however
is
you,
like, okay, I'm gonna
however
have to
you can
check out The Daily.
escape, do it. Yeah.
There was no official press release, but that there was there was a comment from Michael Barbaro that was like, Michael feels his orientation has shifted.
And it's always mentioned in a sort of quick parenthetical anytime something, if there's a profile of him or something, it's never an expose, everyone sort of knows, but it's not, even though he's so high profile, people don't talk about it.
It's also he's one of the few people, I feel like if any formerly gay guy started dating a woman, it would sort of be like, oh, he's bi now. But with Michael Barbaro, it almost feels like he is straight now.
Yeah. No, bisexuality was never an option.
Yeah. And by the way, if he wants to come out as bisexual, he's welcome to do it on our podcast, and we can maybe cross post on the Daily feed.
He gets on.
Yeah, we could collab on that post.
Yeah, we could
Today
collab.
is March 21st. This is StraightioLab.
Have you noticed his reactions recently? I will come out and say that after many years of not boycotting, but not listening to the Daily, recently I was like, I have to know what's going on with the banks, and I started listening again.
Did you find out?
No, but he the grunts. He's sort of famous for the response grunt. You're saying something, it was, huh? And I would say they are getting out of hand to the point where I'm like, are you beatboxing?
Well,
that's when you go straight.
Yeah,
right. It's a very
he's breakdancing.
It's classic kind of active listening, but the grunts, the grunts are a little like Natasha Lyonne. You know how Natasha kind of has a
yes.
You know what I mean?
She should host the Daily.
She should. I don't see why we don't have just actors play characters to host news shows. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't need to trust. Just read the script, babe.
Just read the script.
Totally.
Well, they all have podcasts now, so they'll be doing that soon.
I'm now
and they
imagining.
literally all think they are journalists.
I'm now
Emrata
picturing.
absolutely thinks that she is Brian Williams.
Yes.
I mean, so does Chelsea Handler.
That was one of my favorite takeaways from the first 10 minutes was well, he isn't any Brian Williams, I was like, got it, yes. Yeah. No,
the
Natasha
pinnacle of
Lyonne
news to me.
Natasha Lyonne hosting The Daily would be so good. Like, I'm just imagining her being like interviewing like coal miners. You know what I mean?
So what are we looking at here?
What are we looking at? So, I'm doing a cigarette. I'm holding a cigarette for I mean, podcasting. You know, you can't see me. That's a thing.
Well, actually, we're now doing video, so we'll make this into a little Instagram reel.
Make sure you get my perfect Natasha Lyonne impression in there.
Of course. I started listening to The Daily like when Trump was elected and was truly like, this is activism. I am listening to a podcast every morning and I am learning and I'll never get bamboozled again.
Yeah, and by the way, from the New York Times, it's like, well, I am a full-on communist.
It was so stupid. That era is like one of the funnier like year-long periods where it was like, okay guys, let's change our ways starting now. And it was like, oh, this is not how this works necessarily.
I hesitate to say this, but okay. I used to listen to a comedy podcast that I will not name. And after the election happened, and it was always like, just like lighthearted comedy. No one was looking to them for political views, like, which is fine. It is okay to produce a comedy podcast that is not political. I can't relate. Obviously, ours has changed the world for the better. But
we can't stop doing activism. Actually,
we cannot, and we have tried, but governments have toppled.
We've been told by the network, stop,
Yeah, please stop. But the election happened, and the week after, this podcast brought on someone they referred to as an activist. It was never made clear what kind of activism, what this person's background was. It was just like, this is an activist. And the two hosts just were asking questions like, so what can we do? So what can we do? And it was like, wait a minute, is this the first time in your literal entire life you have like thought about because I understand, obviously we were all in shock. I was in shock. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. But the idea that this is the first time in their entire life that they have thought, like, maybe we should check out activism.
That's one thing that
really was that era.
See, that still hasn't occurred to me, though, so I see where that's coming from.
Rose and I are very staunchly like, let's like stay in our lane and talk about the things we want to talk about. Like, horrible things happen to trans people all day, every week, whatever. And Rose and I are like, did you catch the last episode of The Last of Us? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we want to. That's like, it's
and you guys are centrists.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe leaning.
I mean, I'm a little more on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't want to talk about how the Trump administration was weird for me too, but because it ended.
Because it ended, and because you got so much shit when he was in power because you were such a staunch supporter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Rose was in the trenches.
Yes, she was, and let me tell you something. You did a great job.
Thank you. I have trench mouth because of that.
We got to do our first segment, Sam. What do you think?
I think we absolutely should. So our first segment is called Straight Shooters, and in this segment, we ask you a series of rapid-fire questions to gauge your familiarity with and complicity in straight culture. It's basically this thing or this other thing, and you have to pick one. George, do you want to kick us off?
The one rule.
Very well.
And the one rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions.
Okay.
Correct.
And we take that very seriously.
Okay. What happens if I do, though? Is there like
That's a follow-up question.
Is there a drone
sounds like a
hovering
question.
outside my window?
I would really encourage you to stop.
Well, we would
stop
but
using
then-
that interrogatory tone because it won't end well for you,
Okay,
sweetheart.
well, you better not check a bag the next time you fly.
Okay, it's giving nuclear waste management.
Yeah, Rose, that's a beautiful Uniqlo hoodie. That looks just like
me posting a photo of like a very like widely available like a black Uniqlo hoodie and then a photo of like Oscar Isaac wearing it and being like, I've lost mine.
this was stolen from me.
All right, I made a slight effort in mind to make them a little sort of Fran and Rose centric.
Oh,
We'll see
wow.
how I did. Okay, like a virgin or like a G6?
Like a virgin.
Like a virgin, I think. Yeah.
Okay, singing in the rain or shouting in the void?
Shouting in the void.
Singing in the Rain, I immediately thought of Drew Barrymore, who is kind of like heterosexual culture in some ways. But yeah, I would maybe say Singing in the Rain.
All the Things She Said by Tattoo or Tattoo by Jordan Sparks?
Tattoo by Jordan's, maybe. I don't know. That like brought me to like the slow dance at, you know, like your high school kind of like, you know, function, like prom, maybe.
All the things she said.
You're just being contrary now. It's fine.
Okay. Pretty Little Liars, Big Little Lies, Little Fires Everywhere, or Tiny Beautiful Things?
Tiny Beautiful Things, because I've never heard of that.
That one was just announced last week.
But I'll tell you. But I have a story about that I'll say after we're done with this segment.
Okay.
I'm ashamed to say I love Tiny Beautiful Things, and I have bought more copies of that book than most books because I would always buy it for friends. But she is like cis culture. Like Cheryl Strayed is that kind of like brand of white womanhood. I see that.
Okay. Marching in a parade or parading around like you own the place?
Marching in a
parading around like you own
Oh
the
my
place.
God, you guys, the disagreement is electric.
It's common for. Wait, we're picking the thing that's more straight.
That's a
You
follow-up
can't ask any
question.
follow-up question.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's
No.
I'm sorry.
Parading around like you own the place. I'm from Florida.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Me either. Okay, being a Rue girl or being a businessman?
Being a Rue girl, I think, is something
Being a
that-
businessman.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. A clean break, a dirty shame, or a sanitized description of queer life blatantly pandering to straight liberal sensibilities.
The middle one.
Perfection. I don't even remember what the middle one was.
It was
Neither
a
do
dirty
I.
shame.
A dirty
see,
shame.
It sounds. I think Fran just asked a follow-up question and you answered it.
No. Fran said, I don't even remember what the middle one was, period.
No question mark. And thank you.
I
for
heard.
saying
I heard a little like.
There was that.
little-
Oh,
the
so
end of
you're
the sentence.
stigmatizing upspeak because Fran is sort of feminine. Is that
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
I see.
Huh.
I see.
Cool.
Well, I'll keep that in mind as I keep my voice up here. Got it.
Okay, a soft taco or a hard out?
Hard out.
Hard out for sure. Yeah.
Wow, you guys agreed.
Yeah.
Finally.
Okay, so what we do after the segment is we rate your performance on a scale of 0 to 1,000 doves.
George,
Sam,
what do you think they did?
I have to say, I actually think that was one of the best performances we've seen
I
recently.
fully agree.
Yeah, it was really like, how do I put this? It's like when you are watching Dancing with the Stars and you're like, okay, this is sort of a joke, but then two people come out and they do a flawless tango.
Yeah, I would say 999 doves because
Yeah.
it really felt like you were telling a story. There was like we understood who you were, we understood your dynamic, and there was even the quiet reflection periods after each
Exactly.
question. I found to
Exactly.
be very, very intimate.
Yeah. Some people say rapid fire, and we say dead air.
Yeah, this is also just showing our dynamic in that Fran and I have the exact opposite take about literally everything.
Not
But you sold
literally
that.
everything, but like a
And
lot.
the
A
fact
lot of
that
For
at
the
the
most part.
end you agreed, like,
Yes.
the way you told a story where it was like,
Yeah.
in the beginning, it was like, disagreement, conflict, and then you turned that on its head and made it playful.
Yeah, we're
because
learning
you
to
were both,
compromise.
right?
We are.
And then at the end on an agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
what we
also-
call in ancient Greek theater catharsis.
I also just think, people like to scoff at the concept of dead air on the radio, on the podcast. And I think, it can be such a powerful sort of rejection of productivity culture to just take a moment and say, yeah, I don't really know what to say right now.
100%.
I'm not a robot.
That's
I'm a
what
human.
producers are for.
Yeah. Dead air really helps the girls that also listen at 1.5 the speed, which is neat.
Ooh.
If not 2
Oh.
times the speed, depending on
Okay,
what
should we
the
be
podcast
talking
is.
Wow.
sort of slower to appeal to those girls?
No, this is a gay podcast. There's nothing we can do really to help the 1.5 to 2 times listeners, because it really is just like buzzing at that point, given how fast faggots talk.
I feel so bad for anyone listening to us at 2
Oh my God.
Speed.
It's not how you're supposed to hear us. It must hurt. It must like be grating genuinely.
No, I kind of like it because it makes you sound more feminine. So fish.
Yeah, and God knows we need help in that department.
She's feeling swap. She's feeling cunt. She's feeling 1.5 the speed, honey.
Oh my God.
Should we
get into our topic?
Introduce our topic?
I think we should. So Rose and Fran, tell us about the journey to the topic today, the highs and the lows on the way to it, and then we can get into it.
Yeah, so
Rose.
let me set the scene. So about 15 minutes before we were supposed to log into this recording, we had finished
This
up
Microsoft Teams link, we have to say.
we had just finished up recording for our podcast and kind of went, oh fuck, we have to do StraightioLab in 15 minutes. Didn't they want us to prepare something? And we looked at the email, and it turned out that we needed to come prepared with the topic. And so, you know, we had like a sort of like Mensa-esque summit with our producer to think about what could we possibly talk about here. And after like seconds, possibly even a minute of discussion, we thought that, you know, it's really time to talk about something that like almost never gets talked about, especially on podcasts. And that's men.
We need to talk about men.
Yeah. You've heard of we need to talk about Kevin, but we need to talk about men.
Well, Kevin was a man.
Kevin was a man.
Well, wait. Is it we need...
Excuse me.
Whoa, Rose.
Whoa.
Did you just say
Whoa.
that?
Rose.
Because for the listeners, Kevin was famously played by one Ezra Miller, a kind of Sam Britton
Ezra Miller
figure.
I like
Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller.
Wow, I love Ezra Miller being a Sam Britton-esque
figure in the culture. Yeah,
Okay, well, I was talking about the character, not the actor.
of course.
That's right.
Yeah.
And thank you for clarifying.
And queer actors can do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can play any role.
Any role.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Except
No one
maybe
is like
people.
actually behind us. Like,
except like high school football star. I think.
I'm sort of like, could a gay person play Michael Clayton? No.
no, sweetie.
Could a gay person play Jason Bourne?
No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe Ruby Rose.
100%.
Trying to think of roles that gay people couldn't play.
Roles that gay people couldn't play.
I'm like,
You know, I think. Do you think a gay person could play Forrest Gump?
ooh,
that's a
Yeah.
very loaded question.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a complicated one.
And
a
honestly,
gay person
yes.
did play Forrest Gump.
Yeah. No, I actually think Forrest Gump is very explicitly queer coded.
Yeah,
I hate
that's why I
that
wasn't allowed to
term.
watch it growing up.
I know.
I've gotten so sick of seeing people talking about
No,
things
it's true.
being queer coded. I'm just
queer-coded.
sick of discourse in general.
Bury
Yeah.
your
Yes.
gays.
Okay, so
Discourse
wait.
is a thing.
Discourse is the thing. So men, what reads as straight about men to you?
Yeah, explain.
Because I don't know what
We
you're
don't get
talking
it.
about.
We're men and we're gay.
Well, you know, I think Rose thought of the topic. I thought, you know, the thing that popped into my head was, I don't know when this podcast is being released, but I was thinking about Diplo talking about a guy sucking his dick and how that was straight. And I was like, you're right. That is straight. When men suck your dick, that's heterosexual. And in that
because
moment,
the first
it
topic we
was.
should mention was sex with men. That's what you
Yes.
Well, that's what I
Girls.
originally pitched, and
Right.
so
Right.
I'm coming from that as from the perspective of
Right.
having sex with straight men is very
Is straight.
heterosexual,
Yeah.
even if you are a man.
or whatever else
Whatever.
you could be.
Okay.
But having sex with any man across the board, 100% straight.
Yeah.
Okay, men in general, as a straight thing, I think one way that it kind of works for me is like when you're talking to like even a straight girl, you're like, well, yeah, but you're like a little gay. Like you're like a
Because you're
straight
not a
girl's
man.
like because
Yeah.
you're not a man. Like a straight guy is straight. Like,
Yeah,
like a straight girl, you're like, well, yeah, but come on, we're girls. We can be girls.
Straight girls are the gay of straight people.
That is exactly what we were getting at, and I'm so glad
straight
Sam
women
said
are
that.
the LGBTQ plus community of the straight world.
Yeah, 100%.
And they come in all sorts of flavors, whereas straight men are all straight.
Well, because and I think there's a thing about being a gay man, which if I can remember that far back, there's still like there's certain behaviors of gay men where you're like, that was pretty straight of me.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
There are things that you do where you're like, if I hadn't sucked a dick last night, who would even know?
Right. Yes.
Well,
right. In the same way that straight women are the gay of straight, gay men are the straight of LGBTQ.
Yes.
Literally.
You're 100% right.
100%. That is like so.
They should teach this in schools.
Yes.
And they will.
And one day they will. And when Sam Brinton is president, they will.
Yeah. This is what drag queens are
She's
teaching
got my
in
vote.
schools right now.
Yeah, this is why they're trying to ban drag story hours, because they're teaching this exact episode of StraightioLab.
Gay guys really are the straight guys of LGBTQ culture. Like now when people like, if you like are in a kind of queer mixed company group setting, whatever, like, and you're like, oh yeah, you can say I'm gay, because now that's like an umbrella term. A lot of people like say I'm gay or whatever, and you can be like any gender or whatever. But if you say I am a gay man, everyone's like, like it's kind of a like
in this economy,
he, him.
Yeah.
They're also like gay male like sex stuff being like leather and denim and going into this direction. It's like, okay, you're just now super masculine. Like you're
Clint Eastwood.
it's
You
the
lost
Tom
yourself.
of Finland of it all. It's just like cosplaying as the straightest thing you possibly could be in order to turn on other dudes.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
It's like how, like every gay porn is still like they're like the fantasy is that they're straight and they just happen to want to fist each other.
A question for the group. Do we like, are we into like straight, do straight guys in porn, is that like a fetish? Is anybody
That's
into
a
that?
really
And this
important
is a safe
question.
space.
I don't believe you that this is a safe space, but yes.
This is an unsafe space. When I entered it, it became dangerous.
I don't like seek out. I'll watch like fully straight porn, like guy girl stuff, and that is hot.
Sam
to
is
me.
straight.
I'm a straight. I'm Michael Barbaro.
Just to be clear, Sam is straight.
But I don't need my gay porn to have the theater of we're pretending we're straight guys, and it kind of takes me out of it.
I agree. I agree. It takes me out of it. I don't seek it out. I don't sort of fetishize gay for pay. But here's the thing. Sometimes it'll come up and I'll be like, uh-oh, I am obsessed with this. Like, it's like, there's a reason. There's something to it. Like, there's a reason it's a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sometimes when you're in the kind of porn algorithm or you're scrolling on your like porn alt Twitter or whatever, and all of a sudden there's a video of some guy named like, Jesse or Derek, and he's like, I've never had sex with a guy before, and he's wearing like Andrew Christian underwear, like out of his like low rise whitewashed denim jeans. That I think, sometimes that happens, and that does
happen sometimes.
That's okay.
Yeah. It is shocking when it is an actual straight man, because sometimes you're like, oh, you are not enjoying this.
Is it ever an actual straight man?
There is from what I know, some insider baseball, it is a pretty small percentage of performers in gay porn are straight men, but they exist.
There are a lot of straight OnlyFans creators that cater specifically to gay men. Like, that is a thing. And I also, as someone who frequents, a kind of cam boy scenario, there are also a lot of straight performers you can clock, because you're like, you see like 3/4 of like an empty Gatorade bottle or whatever, like Axe body spray
100%
in the background,
Although let me tell you something, some of these gay guys, also the interior decor is not necessarily giving.
It's not giving.
John Waters. Yeah. It's not necessarily a sort of cover of Elle Decor Town and Country vibe.
You actually could say that like there has never been a gay porn video that had like good, tasteful interiors. Like this is how to I have a porn creator friend who I subletted my room to in LA, who was like, I'm gonna like film here. Is that okay? And I was like, totally. But I was like, my bedroom is. Yeah, as long as I get no. I love supporting OnlyFans creators, and they, gave me a free subscription. They sent me, some cute stuff as like a thank you, and they also paid for the room to sublet. Oh. And they're a friend of mine, like trusted them, whatever.
Okay, so you're a landlord.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you did.
No, I was like, whatever. And so they were staying at my place, but I said to them, I was like, you can film there, but just like FYI, my room is highly stylized. Like Rose knows, if you see, it's like color coded.
It's like the set of Moulin Rouge.
It's 29 rooms. It's 29 rooms. Sponsored by Refinery
29 rooms. Yeah. And there was like a whole wall of books that are all color coded. It's like if someone sees Fran's room in the background of a gay porn, like I don't know that they're coming.
It would be jarring. That's what I'm saying. It's like I think that would be jarring to a consumer. I was like, with the boy smells candle and like my vintage dresser, like.
Right, you need a more neutral,
because they're gonna be like, is that marble fruit or woodforia?
It's it's Coco Chanel. You have to take one thing off the wall before you shoot your porn in the room.
That's it.
Exactly.
Well, I did get I saw some of the videos after, and I did find it distracting. But like they did definitely like find angles where they could like the least amount of like my interiors were in the shot. But like I was like. You could still see the boy smells candle.
I definitely have responded to a dick pic saying like, you need to clean your bedroom.
Boy smells gay, not straight. Boys are gay, men are straight. Are we making that kind of a dichotomy?
Okay, this
feels dangerous.
This is literally one of the smartest things I've ever heard, and you need to primary Joe Biden tomorrow.
Boy is gay.
Boy is gay. Also, like,
I'm like
boys
very
are
worried
gay.
about the direction we're going into. It's feeling a little groomy to me.
No. We're talking queer colloquial boy, not boy attached to like a specific under 18. This is over 18 boys.
Like referring to like a 35-year-old man as boy is like,
which happens.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it happens. I'm begging for it.
Yeah, I have only a few more years.
I think that, it's tough because also gay guys do refer to them as men and try to sexualize that.
You know what's crazy? Remember earlier when I said like Sam and I are men, we're gay. The idea of referring to myself as a man is so jarring. When was the last time you were like,
babe, meet you at Callan Lord.
I'm coming out. I'm like making a huge realization about myself.
We're actually recording this from the Aperture Healthcare line. Standing outside.
Have you seen that BetterHelp
There's a
ad?
long wait.
Or I don't know if it's BetterHelp, but it's some ad for like online therapy, and it's this woman, and she's like walking in her apartment, and she just pauses and goes, "I think I'm gay," and then it's like, then she's like gonna go seek out therapy.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
That's how it happens. It's a slippery slope.
Rose, I'm so sorry.
No, please.
I'm a bad interrupter. Rose, do you remember? Okay, Rose and I used to work at Out Magazine. We had this like really crazy dinner that we did at the top of the Standard that Rose showed up for 2 hours because she had a terrible fever.
I had like 102-degree fever, but I looked
you
amazing.
Came. You did.
Well, I also I had to like film SpawnCon there or something. So
right, okay. If I don't, do you remember? Can you help me remember this? Lil' Kim was the guest of honor at this like kind of seated dinner moment, and she gave like a mini speech. And at one point in her speech, she said, she kind of had this aside. I don't even remember what the context was, but she goes, "And I'm gay," and everyone was like, "Yes, white bitch, I'm a fucking gay," and then everyone like there was this kind of like kind of after moment where everyone was like, but you're not, like, but you're not.
Right.
But she was saying it like she was saying
it in a sort of I'm every woman sense.
Yes,
Right.
she was saying
all
like
in
I'm.
Yeah.
It was kind of. I felt like she was kind of saying like, you know, I'm cool. Like I'm.
Yeah, that can be a common misconception.
She was saying I'm. Wait, what? Yeah.
She's like, I'm gay. Everyone's like, no, sorry, she means cool. Don't listen to her. She means she's cool.
It's better
She
than
means
when
wearing-
gay used to mean, you know, stupid or
Annoying.
bad
Totally.
or annoying.
Although we
it
should
does
bring that
still mean
back.
all those things.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
She
now
said
more
I'm-
than ever.
Yeah, gay as in I'm wearing a skirt as a top. Wait, was that Hillary Duff moment? Did I misquote it?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
No, she. It's sort of like, so, you know, she's like, it's not okay to use the term gay like in a derogatory sense. How would you like it if I went around and said that is so girl who's wearing a skirt as a top?
Oh, okay. So I at least got a little bit of it. That was thank you.
I'm so glad you're off book for that, George.
I know.
Oh my god.
She was ahead of her time.
I agree.
She started the
She was
exact
both
discourse
ahead.
that we're
She was
now
both
having.
ahead of, behind, and very much of her time.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's every
She
woman.
started out as ahead of her time, and guess what? She's caught up to herself, and
Yeah.
she's stopped.
And she loved
She has
men.
parked.
She
loved men.
She loves
Not
men.
boys.
Oh yeah, men.
Men.
Yeah.
Okay, men.
Okay. Yes.
Men.
Say more.
I'm
Men.
trying to think of like how else men are straight.
Right.
Just as in any context.
Well, first of all, okay, we're talking about men. The existence of men implies the existence of women. Men is very like already you are in a binary world. You're like men. You keep waiting to hear and women.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Even saying yes, exactly. Even
Yes.
saying the word men, it's almost like I'm taking a hammer to a nail, and I'm like, and now that is my sign for welcome to the patriarchy, and I'm gonna put it up. So
I also think men's okay.
You can't say
Okay.
women without saying men.
that is true.
Exactly.
Who do you think was the first woman, I'm sorry, who thought of spelling women with a Y, and she was like, problem solved?
It was
Probably J.K.
Joanne Rowling.
It was Joe. It was her.
My
Biden.
sister.
yeah.
Wow. Oh God.
But yes, it is the basis of like, you know, it's like men is the unit around which the system of patriarchy is built. So there you go. That's
Well,
pretty
So there's
straight.
one.
It came
that
from
goes one.
Adam's
for
rib.
one.
Yeah.
Came from Adam's rib. Yeah, Adam. What's the deal with him? Is he gay?
It's a very gay name.
It's a very gay
Wait.
name, but that's I
Adam
think because
is-
it's like reappropriated from like it's Adam and Eve, not
Adam and Eve,
Steve.
not
So
Adam and
I think,
Steve.
Not Adam and Steve.
And then there
So
was
then
also,
I think everyone's like, okay, Adam.
there was also that hookup site Adam for Adam.
Exactly.
Classic.
Exactly.
Right.
But also the Bible, like mythology, the Bible, all of that is very sort of like fairy tales, and like I could imagine a gay dad having a son and being like, "Oh, Adam," like with the snake and the apple.
Yeah.
The story is gay. The story is very gay.
Yes,
gay.
the story is gay.
because Adam was like, no, you can't have this fruit, and Eve was kind of like, well, I'm gonna show you.
Totally. Well, the story of Adam and Eve is very much like the narrative of a Lady Gaga video. Like she created those characters, and then they're being played by, you know, Suki Waterhouse.
What era of Lady Gaga do you think, Rose?
Art pop.
Yeah.
Art
Yeah,
the
it's
same.
art pop.
Yeah.
It's art pop. Yeah.
It's the GUI video.
yeah,
Like, that's-
100%.
It's in that world.
Also straight. Guys are straight. Men as well. Guys.
Guy is
Guys.
straight.
Guy.
Wait, let's rank guy, dude, man. Okay,
Bro.
wait. Guy, dude, man, bro.
Yeah.
From gayest to straightest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
guy, dude, man, bro.
Guy,
What's
dude, man,
gayest?
bro.
Guy, dude, man, bro.
I think
I think-
guy is the gayest.
I agree.
I think so
Okay.
too.
I
'Cause
think
a lot of-
bro. Oh, sorry.
Well, I think that's why people say like I think gay guy has really taken off as a phrase because it's
Exactly.
like I'm not saying I'm a gay man, I'm softening it. I'm a gay guy.
Totally.
And
But
I
gay
also-
dude, I hate. Gay dude is like
Oh.
a sort of there's a
Oh.
performance of masculinity there.
It's also just it's like it's just something that we say now. It's kind of, you know, omniculture. Like
Yes.
a lot of like trans and non-binary people are all like, don't say guys, like you guys, like, but and it's like I say you guys constantly, like not that because I do it anyone can do it, but it's just like this is wasting our time talking about.
Yeah, and also guy is
how I
the
feel.
girl under you. As
Yeah.
Lady Gaga famously saying. So
That's
I say
literally
okay,
what
I
it
think
stands
it's
It's literally inclusive.
I think
It's
it's
guy.
I think it's guy, and then I think it's bro, because
Yeah.
because like methed out gay guys love calling each other bro.
100%.
Like
100%.
as kink. Then I think it's dude, and then I think it's man. Is the
Yeah,
man
you're
is the
absolutely
straight
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. Even
Wow.
this is something I'm trying to form in my mind because I don't think it makes sense, and I think I'm going to flop as soon as I start saying it. But I trust that everyone in this room will help me and support me as I try.
We're gonna
But-
get
see. I'm considering it.
Okay. So like a male like the concept of like man getting horny to me is also like very like it's like such a straightforward linear like
Yes.
I see this, I like this, my dick goes like this, I am like I become feral and I like and then it's like straight like back forth, then I'm over and I'm asleep. There's like something
Yeah.
so like it's non-conceptual, it's not like there's not like a feeling
literal.
to it. It's very literal. It's very
literal.
like A to B to C.
Yeah, men are literal, women are metaphors.
You said it, babe. I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Sam.
I support-
and you
I
know
support
what?
your
I
thesis.
wish that more of your people, men, could be that direct about getting horny. But you know what? Not all of them are. Not all of them have the balls.
So you're
Let's say
saying
that.
hashtag not all men.
Hashtag not all men.
I wouldn't say that I've said that.
So you're coining the hashtag not all
You
men,
feel.
correct?
So you
Yes.
feel not all men.
I feel that some men don't do that. That's
Sure.
what I would say.
Interesting.
Why do you say that, Rose?
Just from experience.
Yeah, Rose, name one good man. What? Woody Allen?
Yes, one
Okay.
good man.
This is hard. I'm
RuPaul.
No.
No, that's gonna have to be the final answer.
Yeah,
and I also
that's how.
actually I have a follow-up question. Who in the world right now is the most man?
Wow.
The best man, would you say?
The
The most.
No,
man.
the most
man.
man.
It's different.
Oh, Madonna.
Oh,
bro.
that's so good. That's true. That's where she's arrived.
Yeah.
She's fully living her Lydia Tarr, like, Lydia Tarr, like gender reversal, like I do whatever the fuck I want.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I
we're
can't
gonna
argue
have
with that.
to just go with that, I guess.
I would
Yeah,
not
Rose-
debate that at all.
Yeah, I would ask Rose to clarify, but you're I don't know. You kind of don't like clarifying things.
I also
I
think
don't.
asking someone to clarify is like,
No,
it's
'cause
sort
Rose-
of saying like, I don't believe women. You know what I
Women,
mean?
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and as we mentioned, men are literal, women are metaphor, and
Yeah.
Rose is being metaphor.
Yeah.
yes.
I am as Rose in Titanic said, a woman is an ocean of memory.
And you were named after
Is that
her,
the
correct?
quote? I actually don't know.
I have no idea.
kinda were named
was,
after her.
I was named after her.
No,
Yeah.
literally, kind of. Right? Are you allowed to say that, Rose?
Am I allowed to say that?
Are you like
Am I allowed to say that?
No, Rose from Titanic was not the inspiration for my name, but I'm glad to be, I'm glad to be in the room.
To be in a canon of roses.
Yes.
Yes.
I chose my name because of Fran Lebowitz, obviously.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now that it used to be Fran Drescher, but she's like, I guess, an anti-vaxxer now. So we
Because Fran Lebowitz is totally buttoned up and has never said anything problematic.
Yeah. Never. Yeah.
Oh.
I love
Well.
Fran. I would love to inhabit her at any point, at any time.
Fran Lebowitz.
Lebowitz.
What about
You
Fran
want to fuck
Drescher?
Fran Lebowitz?
I want to.
I could see it.
Honestly, she would have a lot of things that check off my boxes. Honestly, power play.
Yeah.
At first, second of all, I love someone that doesn't care if I live or die. Just someone who is just gonna come in, do their way.
Yeah.
And then
Someone
leave.
probably, I feel like she'd be really into humiliating.
What do you
whoever
think
she's
her
with.
sex life is like currently?
That's
Nasty.
In her apartment with her
Nasty.
10,000 books. Is it like a barrage of constant criticism? Like,
No, I think
Yeah.
she subscribes to the OnlyFans person who was filming in your apartment.
yeah.
there we go. She likes
Yeah.
the interiors, the books.
Well, because she's
Totally.
critiquing
And she's getting
the
off
books
on
that
the
you have
interiors,
on
not-
your bookshelves while she's getting
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how she
Wow.
gets off, is making fun of your taste in books.
Yeah, she's like 14 copies of Tiny Beautiful Things or whatever it's called. I'm gonna come. This is so embarrassing.
Fran, I'm so glad to meet a fellow Cheryl Strayed's stan.
Yeah, I grew up in a lot of white culture and went to Indiana University, where I think I
Whoa.
started to develop my taste for Cheryl
Yeah.
Strayed.
As listeners
that
of this podcast know, one of my favorite films is the film Wild, starring Reese Witherspoon.
And Laura Dern as her mother for
And Laura
some
Dern
reason.
as her mother, yes, who loses her
Wow.
eyes.
Crazy.
Wow.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Well, fuck. I was going to watch that later.
There are some things that don't need to be books, and that's one of them. It's like Eat, Pray, Love too.
Totally.
I recently rewatched, and I was like,
Ryan
this is
Murphy
like
directed.
Another man.
Yeah. Talk about most man.
He's
Men
pretty man.
TM. Yeah. Wait, Ryan Murphy is the most man, actually.
Yeah, it's a tie between Ryan
Yeah.
Murphy and Madonna.
Madonna.
Sam, I think we have to do our final segment. I gotta
think
say,
you're
I'm looking at the
right.
time, and would you believe that we have another recording to get to?
Are there any final thoughts on men?
If you can't beat them, transition.
Yeah, we will welcome you with open arms. Just let us know. We're here
guess-
for you.
Yeah, my version of that is if you can't beat them off. Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Come on. We're having a little fun.
No, that was good. I liked that. I saw where
That
you
was
were
really
going,
good.
and I see
That
the
was really
vision.
good. That was really good.
Thank you.
Sam, would you like to introduce our final segment?
I
or shall
would.
I? Okay.
So our final segment is called Shoutouts, and in this segment, we pay homage to the classic straight tradition of the radio shoutout. So we shout out to anything that we enjoy. So imagine it's 2001, you're at TRL in Times Square, shouting out to your squad back home, but about anything that you like. We always come unprepared. That's part of it. And if you can believe it, I'm unprepared. George,
I actually just thought of one on the spot.
that
can you
would be
believe?
huge. I would love
Okay.
for you to go first.
Okay, I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I'm going to have to be really sultry and sort of ASMR in this shout out. I hope everyone's okay with that, and I hope no
Vocal
one's too
rest.
turned on.
Vocal
I,
rest.
I need to go on vocal rest.
Do I have your
So it's
consent
sort of-
to be turned on by it?
No, and that makes it hot. Just kidding.
Oh, no.
Forget I ever said that.
And we don't have time for that discourse.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. This is George, and I want to give a quick shout out to, I want to give a shout out to Janet Jackson laughing in songs. I have been recently on a Janet Jackson kick. And first of all, a small parenthesis to say, I am so sick of people, even people who support Janet Jackson, sort of defining her based on how much she's been wronged. Yes, we agree she's been wronged, but she also is literally the greatest living pop star. So maybe start there before you start talking about your little media theories. So having said that, I want to say laughing on a track can feel so forced, can feel so tired, can feel so try hard. I mean, can you even imagine Dua Lipa attempting it? But when Janet does it, it is ethereal, it is beautiful. You realize why she was the most successful pop star of her she would have been the most successful pop star of her generation if it wasn't for a variety of reasons that we're all complicit in. And so, shout out to Janet Jackson. She even has a little laugh in Together Again, a song that I didn't even know that was a song that she had a laugh in. She laughs at every single song, and it's because she's constantly happy and she's constantly living it up. And we can all take a pointer from her and try to let go and dance to the music of life. Woo! Woo!
Of life.
Wow, that really fell apart at the end, but I stand
No,
by
I thought it
the
was
general
powerful.
premise. Thank you.
I
was
think of her
moved.
as a laugher on the track too. Yeah, I love that.
I love that she laughs.
Yeah. One of my favorite laughs on a track is Joni Mitchell's like extremely fake laugh at the end of Big Yellow Taxi, which like constantly
yeah,
replays
yeah.
in my mind, where she like it's very like It's so it's in our new theme music actually. But like Joni, I feel like honestly, you know, Joni should have learned from Janet, but she's. I was gonna say she's no longer with us. I have tickets to see Joni in June.
Whoa.
That were purchased for me last fall, and my first thought, unfortunately, was,
she dies by then. I know.
What's gonna happen? But we'll see.
I think you're gonna make it. Honestly,
you're gonna make it.
TBD.
TBD.
I don't know if she'll be able to land that laugh live, but we can only hope.
Okay, I have one. I'm ready now. What is up, everyone around the world, the freaks, the losers, and the perverts? I want to give a huge shout out to Being Bad on a Sunday. This is a tried and true tradition that lots of people do. I do think of it as generally a straight thing, and I scoff at it all the time. But nothing makes you feel more in control of your life, more can't be tamed than being bad on a Sunday, because that Monday is literally tomorrow, and you're saying, I don't really care. I could read my book, I could sip tea, and I could be calm and sort of prepare my mind mentally, or I could feel bad, rocket into the week, sort of tumbling and picking myself up and just barely making it. And honestly, both ways, the Monday's gonna be bad. So you might as well just have some damn fun on a Sunday. Yes, I know, I don't think you should take pride in it in the way that I am right now, because that does lead to very toxic sort of frat culture. But I am telling you that don't let them own it. You can have it too. Be bad on a Sunday. It's your right. Can't be tamed. XOXO, Sam. Woo!
I love that.
I was very bad on a Sunday, for sure.
I am going to let our two guests decide amongst themselves who's going to go first.
I have something.
Okay.
Save
the best for last.
That's right. I agree with that. That I immediately thought to shout out the 2015 series, now streamable on Hulu, I Am Kate. This is Kate Jenner's reality TV program that she released when she came out. And I kind of, wrote it off a little bit. I thought, this is a TV show about a crazy lunatic, and they put, 10 other intellectual PhD dolls on a bus with her and made them duke it out. And I thought it was going to be very stupid. And it was extremely rewarding. Well, I didn't watch it all the way through, but my friend and I, who is kind of in the same gender category as me, did press play on episode 1 and lit a joint. And 4 episodes later, we were like, what's happening? And the worst part, I went home and I watched 3 more episodes.
Wow.
That, and I was shook by how much I pulled away from this. Primarily an amazing scene where Caitlyn Jenner is hitting golf balls, complaining about her new boobs, and hitting golf balls straight into a forest. Literally just knocking them out into an open forest. This is a pastime that is probably one of her favorites. The series I love. I will be returning to it. I'm gonna keep watching.
Wow.
Woo! I like that you now feel familiar enough with her that you're exclusively calling her Kate.
Kate. Well, I mean,
really, that show. There was a moment after she came out before she was like, I'm still a Republican. Never mind, I'm still a Republican. Or not never mind about coming out, but never mind about me being on the cover of Vanity Fair. I'm now going to just go back to being a Republican. But there was a moment where you were like, maybe she will be the most important trans person in the world.
Yeah. I think that was the moment that
is she not?
What's kind of something that was kind of crazy about watching it was just how I was just, how certain impressions are so omnipotent that all you can see is them.
Yes.
I of course was thinking everything she said. I was Macy. Macy said Macy Rodman didn't have to script a damn thing. Doesn't literally all lifted straight up from actual things that she says in her mouth. It's it was wild. It's when I watch La Veneno, it's I'm not thinking of La Veneno. I'm thinking of their version of La Veneno, or I don't know. I don't know what Mae West looks or sounds like, but I'm just Alaska
yeah.
Thunderfuck. What I mean? Yeah. But it was great.
I would watch a
recommend.
shot-for-shot remake of I Am Kate starring Macy Rodman in all the roles.
Oh my God.
that
I would
needs
love to see that.
exist.
I actually need that now. I need Macy to play not just Caitlyn, but all the, as you so eloquently referred to them, PhD dolls on the bus.
It was crazy. I mean, the thing, I didn't watch it in real time. And so in my head, I was like, they really like tricked all these girls into like being on a bus or whatever. But they were all a part of this moment, just as you said, we're like, Kate's going to be the most important trans person in the world. So I have to be there.
Isn't it like Jennifer Boylan?
It's Jenny Vinnie Boylan, Kate Bornstein, Jen Richards, Candace Kane, Zachary Drucker. But the thing is, they all held their own in every conversation.
Yeah.
Like held her accountable. I was like shook that it's like produced by Kardashian people. I was like, why did they leave all this in? It was like actual like trans like 3.0 conversations that were like genuinely useful that like Kate wasn't even a part of. And I was like, how did this get here? But it was great.
Wow. There you go. Well, Rose, whenever you are ready.
Okay. Hi, this is Rose from Boca Raton, Florida, and I'm skipping rehearsal to be here, and I want to shout out Real Milk. And, you know, I don't want to be positive about something by being negative about another thing, but fake milk is disgusting. And this weekend I was making myself a coffee and I was pouring almond milk into it, and I was like, why is this milk gray? And then I remembered that it's like made from almonds, so like it's disgusting. And like I know real milk is bad, but like is it? It's like kind of good. It like tastes really good. And like I don't know what all this estrogen has done to my body, and I'm sure my bones are like really brittle. So I know that like the thing about milk being good for your bones is like a lie that was made up by the, like Big Milk or whatever. But like it's also probably kind of true. And so like I'm experimenting. I bought some whole milk. I also bought some 1%. I'm gonna go buy some 2% later and just like figure out what my vibe is. And like, you know what? It's making me kind of mucusy, and that's not great because I like do have a podcast, but I think it's gonna be fine. It's gonna add some character to my voice. And yeah, I just like I love milk. I love milk. Milk is great. Woo!
Wow, that was like a masterclass in dialectical argumentation. You would say one thing, then immediately contradict yourself, and then find like a midway point.
Yeah.
You were like, I need milk because of my bones. I know that's been debunked, but also maybe it hasn't.
Well, that was my first time
every
hearing
woman.
that it's been debunked.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I mean, we need to be, you know, putting more money into the pockets of Big Milk.
I
That's what we gotta be
yes.
doing. I mean,
Whatever
it's
happened
not.
to got milk ads?
That's what I was gonna say. Like back in the 90s when we were all behind Big Milk, and all of a sudden, where is the support for Big Milk? Where is the allyship for Big Milk?
Yeah.
We do not see, you know, we don't see the queer tea, you know,
No.
article like infographic of Melissa McCarthy
No.
talking about milk. We
After-
just see her
after
talking about, you know,
years-
drag queens and stuff.
After years of laser hair removal, the only mustache I want is a milk mustache.
Period. Let's say that, Diva.
And with that,
Wow. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for doing the podcast.
so much for doing the podcast.
That was a true delight.
This was an absolute delight. I am on cloud 9.
Me too.
This was so fun.
Thank
Especially
you so
in
much
the
for having us.
4 p.m. is like the slump of my day, and this just brought
I
me
know.
all the way back up.
I'm so glad.
So glad. Well, ciao.